to make sure. Bum 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 bum.
I talked to Barton then in the middle of this week. And then I think for the Super Bowl, since I don't want to do a Saturday before the Super Bowl, I just don't think that's enough time.
Mm,
Um,
Yeah.
you want to do like maybe we could do a Tuesday, Thursday, maybe a Monday, Thursday. Try to get that
Yeah.
props one out a little bit
Either
early.
either should work, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just try to get that props one out for as much time as possible. Peyton
Yeah,
is
for
already
sure.
there. Love to see it. Peyton, shout out. Um, that's incredible. He's got to have notifications on. Oh, Ethan's here
These are the
too.
real ones. Love
We're
it.
back. Shout out to the fellas.
And finally making pod live again. Good to have
Yeah,
you back.
it is good to have you back. Um, Sending it in to group chats and then posting it on Snapchat. I didn't do that last time. We ended up having a bunch of viewers still, so represent to the chat.
Oh, Ethan's here too. Do you send it to your group chats every time?
Not every time. I send it when I remember.
Okay.
I should send it to my frat one more. I feel like I'd get a couple stragglers every once in a while.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I definitely did when I sent mine.
I
Just
don't
for
know
even
if
for like a couple seconds.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I don't know if my like this Snapchat stories like do anything. I don't know who's actually like the reason why I think that is
Exist.
because like when I see Snapchat stories of links and of like Instagram stories of links, I am not clicking on that shit.
I don't know
So,
if I've looked at a Snapchat story for more than
like 3 seconds.
half a second in like a year.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. Um, all right, let's I'm gonna crack open this Diet Coke and get the show on the road. Oh, almost forgot my notebook. I actually wrote down a shit ton. I just redid the Buffalo game.
Oh boy, the Buffalo game.
Yeah. Oh, Peyton said he would join for my snap a lot. That's because I'm me. Thanks, Peyton. Peyton, you get that ID renewed? We tried to go to the Philly casino and this clown didn't have his ID
Oh
renewed.
yeah. Wait, why are you in Philly?
This was when I saw the Wemby and the Spurs.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, had to give you a little
Well, that
jab
probably
there,
saved you
Peyton.
some money.
It did, and we went to a nice bar. We still had fun. All right.
Did you go
Let's.
to Xfinity?
Yeah. We tried to go to Xfinity
Okay.
Live at least.
I said there's not really much else down there.
Oh well, we went back to I forget where he lives. Um, we went back to like a residential Pennsylvania neighborhood
Oh,
afterwards.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, because his
Oh
ID
well.
was expired, so I don't think any of them, like, I don't think Xfinity was gonna let him in. They didn't let him get a
Yeah.
beer at the game. It really sucked.
Yeah.
Oh well, we had a great time.
I didn't even know they checked for like expiration date.
Yeah, that's like, and clearly it's like really what they care about. Like if that shit's expired, like sorry, bud. Which I always think is dumb. Like just because it's expired doesn't mean I am 21. Oh, out of Doyle in
Yeah.
Doylestown. Doylestown is the suburb.
Doylestown? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, he did indeed renew it. Nice. So we'll have to hit Xfinity next time I'm up there. Um, all right, you ready to get
Wonderful.
this started?
Yeah.
Also, chat before we start, are we too loud? Like I know I don't know if our volumes are like it hits the end on my screen every time and it hits the red. So I don't know if we're too loud or just someone give a little something before we start. Peyton said he thought this was America. That's true. I thought it was America too. To be able to get in an expired ID. All right, we're not getting anything that we're too loud. I'm guessing.
Big divisive issue.
I feel like at this point, people would have told us if we were too loud. All right, let's get started. Get started in 3, 2, and 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
So, of course, we're here to recap the full NBA week. A lot of stuff happening in basketball. There's really not any other sports going on, but actually, no.
We're talking about PGA Tour off season.
Yeah. We're seeing who the Saudis are
The
signing
golf
from
league
the PGA.
on ESPN.
But we're here today to talk about the NFC and the AFC championship games. Sad day for the Commanders. Chris, I'm gonna let you take over, but it would just throw that up there. Just sad day.
It wasn't a fun day, that's for sure. I will say that the final score is not fully representative of how that game went for almost 3/4. The last fumble kind of caused the wheels to pop off there. But they had the ball driving down 11 pretty late in the third quarter, which was the same situation they were in the last time they played the Eagles and ended up winning that game. So it wasn't like blowout from start to finish. So if you didn't watch the game, just saw the score, I'd like to clear that up at least, so you know. But the final score was what it was, and they lost by 30 points because they gave up 7 rushing touchdowns. They turned the ball over technically 4 times, but it was 3 ones that were impactful, all fumbles. Jalen Hurts looked incredible. They could not stop AJ Brown or Goddard or Devontae Smith. And obviously Barkley. But Barkley, for his standards, he had an okay game. He had 15 carries for 100-some yards. And, I mean, he scored 3 touchdowns, but the yards, for him, everybody was running against him, though. Will Shipley had probably 80 yards.
He did.
All at the end of the game.
77
game
yards.
Well looked. 77? Okay, yeah. Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned into an ass-kicking, and yeah, I said that it was a close game for a while, but the Eagles played perfect offensive football for all but I think one drive.
And when you say that,
where
they also sorry, no offense. So when you say that, they also played incredible defense the whole time.
Well,
pretty much
the Commanders were moving the ball.
Yeah, they were moving the ball, and then when push came to shove, they got the sack they needed. They got the fumble that they needed.
They fumbled is what happened. When push came to shove, we fumbled. That's what happened. They fake punted. I think they punted one other time in the first half at least. But yeah, the first drive was I'm kind of all over the place. I'll just get back to the start of the game. Commanders' first drive, they go 18 plays, take off 7-8 minutes, come away with 3, which by the way was shocked that they didn't go for it.
Okay.
4th down because they were 2 for 2 already on the drive. And then Dan Quinn, it's 4th and 3, and he decides to kick the field goal. I'm always a take the points guy, but at this point, I was like, come on, Dan, we're gonna beat this team. You can't just take the points now.
While we're talking about that, we talked about these teams getting out of their rhythm. That's how you want to beat a team. That is getting out of your rhythm. That is not how you played all season long. And it was the craziest part was you go for it on 4th and 5. 10 yards behind where you just kicked the field goal, and now it's 4th and 3.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
I don't know. So that was weird, but I was happy to come away with points and take up half the quarter was I was perfectly fine with that kind of start. And then the Eagles run, they kick back to the 40-yard line, and then Saquon Barkley rushes for a 60-yard touchdown. And 12 seconds later, you're down 7-3. And
then 12 seconds after that, you fumbled the kickoff.
And then De'Ami Brown fumble.
Oh, not the kickoff. Was it the kickoff?
Yeah, it was De'Ami Brown was first.
Okay.
And then the kickoff, and then yeah. So De'Ami Brown fumbles. They go down and score. And it was weird because Barkley was not in the game for a little bit. I was like, I wonder if he's hurt. I had caught a break here. At least he scores that touchdown, but at least maybe he's a little sore. So they're using Gainwell, and then eventually they get down to the 15-yard line, and Barkley scores again.
Also,
Like, well, this is not going great already.
that drive, to credit of the Eagles and credit that we haven't given enough, or not enough because it hasn't happened this playoffs, but Jalen Hurts picked you guys apart that drive. Took you
Yes.
all the way to the 10-yard
Yes.
line, and then gave it to Saquon, and he finished it off.
Yep, that's right. And for all that we said about, I don't know exactly what I said about Hurts, but I do remember saying that their formula for winning was him not throwing the ball as much
Yeah.
and focusing on the ground game. And I said it didn't matter if AJ Brown got involved. I still think that's true because they did score 7 touchdowns on the ground, but AJ Brown was involved and they could
It
not
didn't
stop
help.
him. They couldn't stop Devontae Smith. It did not help. Yeah, they were, for a lot of this last couple weeks of the season, they've been a fairly one-dimensional team. They were not one-dimensional on Sunday. He picked it. The perfect words were, yeah, he picked us apart. So it's 14-3. Commanders get the ball back, 3 and out. But wait, they fake punt, dial it up, Tress Way to Ben Sinnott. One of the best plays of the season, which unfortunately is not going to matter at all. But that, like, the kahunas on Dan Quinn to call that play was, I was pretty shocked, even for his standards. So that was awesome. They don't score a touchdown, though, so they have to kick another field goal. But then they finally get a stop. So you have the Eagles get into field goal range, and then they execute a blitz on 3rd down where Frankie Luvu just times the snap perfectly. A little bit of foreshadowing.
Yes.
A little bit of foreshadowing. Blows up, Hurts in the backfield. Elliott misses a 54-yard field goal. And then they go down and score to McLaurin. So all of a sudden it's a 14-12 game. You're like,
wait. I would like to pause here. Because later on, I'll be getting into a massive rant about 2-point conversions.
They shouldn't have gone for it.
Thank you. I'm sitting in the bar and I'm with a bunch of Commanders fans, and we're actually, it's not a bar, it's like a Mexican place, but it's anyways. They're lining up for 2. I'm just sitting there like, we got it. Like, what are we doing here? Just take the extra point. You're giving up points in the playoffs for no reason.
I know.
To make and
the play call was ridiculous too.
Well,
like we're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage to Eckler, and I didn't understand.
Also, Jamison Crowder was wide open. He looked like he could just walk in for free in that one. But anyways, we'll get it's more egregious with the Bills, especially how this game ended. But this does like it just it comes into play, and you also you're acting scared when you do that. Does that make sense?
Like, you have to tie it now, or you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Or else, like, we're never going to get a chance to tie this game again.
Yeah,
and that's how it ended up being.
I don't know.
But you have to, and they're lucky that the Eagles, the second they score again, for some reason they go for 2 because they're like, oh, it's a 2-point party, I guess, and they make it even again.
Well, there was a penalty. That was the Lattimore.
Yeah, it was the penalty.
Foul, and they tried to tush push. The only tush push that got stopped was.
And it was just. It's more egregious with the Bills. The Eagles made it so it didn't matter because of their 2-point, but that would have mattered if they wanted to keep it close, and they should have kept the ball.
Yes,
but carry on.
The only reason I was not mad about it was because I knew they were going to do it. So I was like, I mean, I don't know why coaches do this. It's not just the Dan Quinn thing. I'd say most coaches in that scenario are going to go for 2, and I don't know why. Like, do you really think that
you have a whole other half of football to play
at the end of the game?
Yeah.
And half of the quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I actually remember doing the math in my head and being like, you have 5/8 in this game. Are we going for it? But yeah, anyway, I completely agree. So yes, they score the touchdown and make it 14-12. Don't get the 2, obviously. And then the Eagles decide to go for it on their next drive. They have a 4th and 5 from around midfield. Commanders bring the blitz again. Marshall Lattimore is left in one-on-one coverage with AJ Brown, and he gets smoked. Perfect throw by Hurts in the face of pressure. The blitz was read pretty well by the Eagles, so they did not even get close to getting home there. But it was a perfect throw nonetheless. Lattimore got beat. Just straight up one-on-one, which was disheartening again. And that was kind of the end of the game. They score there. We fumble again on the kickoff, and then it's 27-12 before Jaden Daniels can even touch the ball again.
Yeah, that was
That's how the
a
first half
brutal
ended.
ending, yeah.
Which is
Well, they
kind
get
of
the
a
3.
kick to the balls.
They
went down, they
yeah.
score 3, which is nice, and they get a 3 and out to start the
Mhm.
second half, and then they come right back with 3 and out of the room.
Yeah.
So then you're down 18, and then the last drive where it felt like they had hope, they go down. I forget what that touchdown was.
Are you talking about the not the Terry, just the Jaden Daniels touchdown?
Yes, the rushing touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So they make it an 11-point game. Get another stop on defense, and then another fumble.
Yeah.
And from there, it's really history.
Yeah, the Eagles just kind of take care of it.
I've kind of said it, like recapping and previewing these games, these whole playoffs. You can't fumble in the playoffs and win.
Yep.
I don't think any team that has lost a fumble this season in a playoff game has gone on to win. And the Eagles have done it to everyone they played. Like the Packers,
the Chiefs did, but they're the Chiefs. They did it this game against the Bills.
Yeah, the rules don't apply.
Yeah, they don't apply to the Chiefs.
Yeah. So the Eagles apparently are just like gods at forcing fumbles because I think they forced like 6 of them in these playoffs. But yeah, you can't turn the ball over 4 times. You can't take a -4 in the turnover differential and expect to have a chance. So I thought Jaden had a pretty good game. I mean, he struggled a little bit with that defense, but that's expected. So I thought he looked good. Ertz had a great game. He was balling out. Everyone else kind of sucked.
So we have a question.
I can't think of another player that played really well, to be honest.
The Ethan is asking, how do you feel about Marshawn Lattimore long term?
People are overreacting about that. I mean, he's played 3 playoff games, even 2 regular seasons. He's played 5 games with the team. He came in injured, then re-injured himself, and was thrown out there against Mike Evans and AJ Brown over the span of 3 weeks. It's a new system as well, so he'll be fine. I don't think he's like prime shutdown CB1 anymore.
Yeah.
If he's a solid first cornerback, then that's all you really need. I think people are kind of freaking out about that trade.
It's not like you gave up a lot.
It's just not necessary. Yeah, they gave up like a 3rd and a 5th, maybe.
And didn't they get most of those picks from the Jahan Dotson trade? From the Saints.
Well, they got a different 3rd for Dotson. They actually traded a lower 3rd for Lattimore.
Oh well.
But yeah, I think he'll be fine. I don't think that's a reason to panic. He didn't look good. I'm not here to say that.
So what's have you done a mock draft yet? Have you looked at the long term? Have you separated yourself from this dream season?
I have a little bit. I mean, I've always in the back of my mind have kind of been thinking about, where do we go from here? Because I knew, like even during the season, that this roster wasn't going to win the Super Bowl. Well, I did start to believe it for a little bit.
After listening to Pardon My Take, I don't know how you couldn't think that was
what, Smoot or PFT?
Yeah, Smoot just
I didn't listen to Smoot.
He was
Smoot's done a lot of local radio, and I saw he was on there, and I was like, he's way too much. He thinks that they're the best team in the universe. But yeah, I mean they have a lot of needs, but they have a lot of draft picks. They have free agent money. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy this offseason. I think it's just going to be beef up the trenches, add another weapon or 2, and that'll be about it. But yeah, it'll be an exciting offseason. It obviously was a dream season. So many amazing moments, and it sucked to go out that way, especially with fumbling the ball so many times, and it turning it into a slaughter. But it doesn't take away at all from what the season was, and
And you wouldn't
I'll be
rather
back.
lose in
So
divisional. You wouldn't rather lose in the wild card. So
no, of course not.
yeah. So you got to take it. Take it for what
And
it
I haven't
is.
heard no one's like saying that.
Yeah. No, I
No
agree.
one's complaining that they now have a lower draft pick or
Yeah.
anything. It was status quo for this franchise the last 20 years. Um, yeah, so vibes are good still. It was like I don't know, I was upset during the game, like I was angry and had to take a couple breaks. But by the end of the game, even I was like, I was all right.
Yeah.
I've
You
seen
got to
much
accept your fate.
worse.
Yes, of course. And you've seen a lot worse play on the football field.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Um. All
Yeah,
right.
I'll take getting my ass kicked in the NFC Championship over getting my ass kicked by the Giants with Mark Sanchez at quarterback.
Oh, definitely.
That's
1,000%.
something I think.
Yeah. You would. Yeah. All right. That's the NFC Championship. I think we covered up mostly everything. I mean, give some Eagles props, I guess. I mean, we talked about Jalen Hurts. He had an amazing game. Saquon, of course, had an amazing game. Didn't hit his rushing prop, so I guess you guys did something.
Yeah, did not.
You guys did something.
That's suspect to me because he only had 15 touches.
Oh yeah, and the Will
And like they
Shipley
kept
could have
showing him with the
easily been
massage
him.
gun. I don't know.
You think he's
I
gonna?
think
You think he's a
somebody
little
might have made a
hurt?
call.
Oh, you think someone made a call? Okay.
I think he might be a little hurt.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it
Should we
was
talk
weird that
about
all of a
the
sudden
tush
Shipley
push
was.
thing?
Hmm.
Also, for what it's
Yeah, we
worth,
didn't get to that. Yeah, we'll do
I'm
that.
so sick of Washington fans complaining about the referees
Oh yeah, that
because,
was pretty bad.
like, yes, there were some calls that did not go our way. Like that 4th and 5, there was definitely a hold on Barkley that they missed. And there was like a late hit on also on Barkley that probably should not have been a late hit.
Oh yeah, that was
But
dumb.
like, can we cut the shit with the
Yeah.
ref stuff when you lose by 30 points?
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Like, yes, it would have changed the game at the time, but when you go on to give up 4 more touchdowns on the ground, you cannot be complaining about the referees. And
No,
then, like, the way that people talking about, they're like, "Oh, I just want to be clear that it's not the reason that they lost."
yeah,
And
but
then talking about the refs for like 20 minutes. It's like, why is this even a conversation?
I agree with
If
that. And
you don't fumble 3 times and you're within a score, and then you get called for that late hit, like then it's a conversation. It's not a conversation when you lose by 32. So
exactly.
I just want to announce. I just want to denounce the fan base, the part of the fan base that finds it acceptable to complain about referees in a game you lost by 5 touchdowns.
Very mature of you. I think that's very mature of you.
I guess 4 touchdowns if they went for 2 and got it every
The what was I gonna say? The referee call that you were talking about, the tush push call. That's what you were talking about. Um, you want to describe the
palpably
scene?
unfair act.
Yeah, the palpably unfair act.
So I actually still I wasn't even watching at this point. I was in my room on the floor because this was one of the breaks that I had to take because it was after the Eckler fumble
Yeah,
and the Eagles get it down to the 1-yard line and they are clearly going to touch push. So what the Commanders dial up is we're just going to send Frankie Louvu to fly over the center and try to land on Jalen
yeah,
as they snap the football. So they tried about 3 times. They called for encroachment every time. So they keep moving the ball up by half an inch. And then eventually they blow it, like it happens again. They blow it dead. And the ref comes out and basically says, if you do that again, we're just going to give them a touchdown. And it's this rule under like the touchdown section of the NFL rulebook that says if a team continues to commit a palpably unfair act to prevent another team from scoring a touchdown, then the referee can just, like, as I heard somebody say, declare martial law.
yeah. Just
and
award a
points,
touchdown. Yeah,
which is like kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, I didn't have a problem with it.
look, it's
Like they did it like 4 times. At some
to
point, you have to draw the line.
to bring it to online video games, which I've been doing a lot this playoffs. If you do that in college football or in Madden, you get kicked out of the game. You just get completely booted. So they can't just boot the Commanders out of the stadium. So they're just gonna give them points.
I would have rather had that, I think.
Just boot them
I would
out of
have
the
rather had that
stadium.
than play out the rest of the game. Yeah, because at that point it was respectable.
Uh,
Two more things. I heard something funny on Pardon My Take. They said that they introduced that rule this week.
yeah, as
they
a
could use it for
foreshadow.
the Chiefs in the Super Bowl,
Yep.
which is very funny. And B, I do want to shout out Tailgate Ted and the Commanders fans who took over the Hard Rock Cafe in Philadelphia on Saturday.
I did hear about that. That was great.
What I couldn't even like. It was wildly embarrassing. I couldn't help but laugh at that. Like the speech that he gave. If you haven't seen it, just look up like Commanders Hard Rock.
Basically, he has a
This guy
speech like
organized
he's
like a fan rally.
like he's in the Civil
Gave
War.
Speech like he's in Braveheart.
Yeah, like he just took over a base in a war that they've been fighting for a long time, and it's pretty great. It's a Hard Rock Cafe that they're just the
Very
Commanders
funny.
are just they've taken over, and that is great. That is a great video.
I will say for like that guy, he did just own it, and like at the game, he got heckled relentlessly, and online got heckled relentlessly, and just ate it, like, and get upset, you know,
Love
on
it.
the chin. So this is who he is.
Love that.
But yeah, that was not a great look again. I'm realizing how insufferable my own fan base can be at times.
They had to learn how to win again this year. This is the year to get the kinks out, you know? Learn how to do all this stupid stuff, learn how to win again. All right. Are we good to go to the AFC? You think you got everything covered?
That's all I got.
All right, I think we got everything covered. All right. Let's go to the AFC side. 29-32 Chiefs, of course. All right. I kind of like I can go chronologically if we want to. I wrote this
Go for
all
it.
out. All right. Chiefs
I was
first.
kind of in La La Land for the first half, I'll admit.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
A little blackout.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So Bills start out with a 3-and-out. Chiefs get the ball. Juju makes plays on the first drive, and then Kareem Hunt scores 7-0. 7-0. Bills get a field goal. Mahomes fumbles. Josh Allen throwing great dots all over the field. 10-0 Bills. No, sorry, 10-7 Bills. Mahomes on his first 4th-and-1 does a rollout. Gets it with his legs. Easy. Basically cheating. And then Worthy gets a touchdown. 14-10 Chiefs. Bills 3-and-out. Chiefs get great punt return. Crazy Worthy catch, which we can discuss.
That was the weird one.
Yeah, so let's pause right there and talk about that because that was like the first ref ball of the game. From my point of view, it's an incomplete pass and he hit the ground. I watched the tip of the ball hit the ground about 5 times before they called it a complete catch for the Chiefs.
What was the call on the field?
A catch.
Yeah, okay. So they felt like they couldn't overturn it, was eventually the...
Yeah.
It didn't look like a catch.
No, it did not look like a catch. I would love to see... First, Kieran in the chat saying the Bills didn't deserve to win. That is why I'm going chronologically through this, so I can explain how the Bills did not deserve to win this. But second, that catch was absolutely ridiculous. It was, I don't know how do you as a ref see that hit the ground and just say, all right, he still can't overturn it. Like, I don't know how that's not enough. But
because it's rigged, that's why.
Well, yes, of course. And then, so they get down to, I think that makes them down to like the 7-yard line, right inside the red zone. Mahomes roll out, scores it with his legs. Actually, it's not a rollout, but it's like a great design run by Mahomes. Easy run, he goes in. Before the halftime, the Bills do get a massive Mac Hollins touchdown, which was insane. Great ball. Looked like Gabe Davis out there. The announcers were saying that. And incredible call. They go, so it's now 21-16. They have an opportunity to make it 21-17. They decide, let's make it 21-18. And they miss. They do a stupid QB sneak,
Is that
which
when
is
they tried to run like
yes, they ran
the
the
tush push, but it wasn't actually the tush push?
yes, and they tried to do, and this is the first time they ran it during this game, and they don't get it on the goal line, which we'll get to anyways.
You want me to keep a running log of what the score should be?
Yeah. So
So you
I do. I have that
21-16,
later.
I have 21-17. Okay.
Yeah, I have that later too coming up. So anyways, it's now 21-16. They get a strip sack from Mahomes. Massive, massive play. You get the fumble that we were talking about in all these other games. Then Cook makes a great play. Oh, James Cook. I wonder if we'll hear his name later. We won't. 4th and 1. They actually have a good run by Josh Allen. And then they have another good run by Josh Allen after that on like a 2nd and 2. He gets all the way to like the goal line. And then they try the tush push shit like 3 more times. It's now 4th and goal. They give it to Cook, and he gets a touchdown. Great. Great job, Bills. It's now 22-21. Should be 23-21. Okay. Then, okay. Yeah, so now they have to go for 2 since they missed the first one. Since you missed the first one, you're now stuck in having to go for these 2 points and just trying to make up.
Them.
Yeah, you're chasing the 1 point that you lost. They missed that one. It's now 22-21. They get the
21 extra points.
Yes. Great call. They dive over. They get the ball back at the half. That's halftime. At least I'm pretty yes. Yeah, that's halftime. Or that's right after half. They get the ball again. They dive over in that 4th and 1. They do a dive over play. Which we might see later. We might not. We won't. We won't see it later. Where Josh Allen does a QB sneak, but he dives over the top. He did fumble it, but he recovered it. Great. They and then they do it again. No dive. They do the QB sneak shit. 4th and 1. The ref doesn't get it. The Chiefs stuff it out. The questionable spot. That's where everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, this is ref checkpoint number 2.
Yes, ref checkpoint number 2. If you hand James Cook the ball, it's not even a question that it's not even a question they pick up that first down and they get that, and it's not even a worry. They go down. They could go down. They could score, and it could be now 29-21 if you kick your extra point and get the touchdown. Or you can take your 3 right there, and it could be, and if you took your, okay, well, first of all, this fake scenario.
No, they weren't in field position to get a field goal. I thought this was at like midfield.
It was definitely past midfield. Let me see if you can confirm that.
KC 41.
You could attempt a field goal there, right? I don't know.
Well, I like the other scenario where they just run the ball and they get it.
Yes, I like that scenario too. That one also seems like it could work pretty well. But no, they do that stupid tush push thing again. And they're down. So now they're up by 1. Chiefs get the ball back. They could be up by 3. It could also, if I don't know, you're right. The field goal could have been a little iffy. That would have been a little long. Tyler Bass, a good kicker though. Could have been up 27-21. That's what I'm thinking about here.
What did you think about the spot? I didn't think it was like egregious. I thought it was weird that the ref who couldn't see the ball was the one who made the call, though.
Yes.
That's what didn't make sense to me.
I thought it was weird. I thought it was a hard ball to spot. I mean, you couldn't see anything. I was shocked that they didn't give us a better angle. There has to be a better angle in there somewhere, right? There has to be some footage of a better angle.
Yeah.
I couldn't see how they could overturn it though when they ruled it short on the field.
Yeah, there's no way.
Chat's saying that the refs suck and that spot was atrocious. Which Look, it was a bad
questionable.
spot, but the issue is it was a bad spot on the call. The review just didn't do enough to be able to overturn it. They should have had the top guy call it and then tried to review it being short instead of it being long enough, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's the problem that I had with it. I was like, why is the guy running from the side where he can't see the ball making the spot?
Yeah, that's the Chiefs' fishy conspiracy theory tinfoil hat stuff. But
He was just the alpha of the group,
maybe
group leader.
Yeah, it could be. So then a massive Juju catch again. Chiefs score, amazing Mahomes touchdown run, and the Chiefs get an easy 2-point conversion. Easy. It is like, and this is why you don't mess with the 2 points, especially when you're going up against good teams, because the second you mess with 2 points and you're up against a good team, that team is going to get the 2 points because that team knows what they're doing and didn't just try this random 2-point for no reason. Like they're doing this 2-point because they have to do this 2-point at this point to maintain the lead and maintain their course of action. And the Bills get them in this scenario where they're forcing them to basically do a 2-point conversion, and they're going to get it every time because they're the Chiefs and they don't mess around and don't do stupid plays.
So if you're keeping track, it should now be 28-24, but instead it's 29-22.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. So then the Bills get the ball back. They do a bootleg on 2nd and 1. I was like, my mind was shocked. And I know I'm rewatching the highlights, so like that's what all these notes are on. So it's it's not every play.
Mm-hmm.
But they run a bootleg and they throw it. It's James Cook, and James Cook gets like 50 yards. He gets like all the way down the field. And where's that all the game? Where is that on any of the 4th downs? Samuel gets a touchdown, 29-29. 6 minutes left. They bend, don't break. They kick the field goal, the Chiefs. It's now 32-29. 3 minutes left. It is 3rd and 10. This is later in the drive. Bills get the ball back. They're around about halfway through midfield, maybe at midfield, close to it. 3rd and 10. James Cook isn't even on the field. He's not even on the goddamn field. They waste. Sorry, give me a sec.
In mind, all these plays are run before the 2-minute warning.
Yes, and Josh Allen runs on that 3rd down.
2 timeouts as well.
Yeah, and they wasted. They threw the ball every time. They didn't throw They didn't run the ball. They didn't run the ball once. They didn't really do any short completions. They kind of just tried to bring it down the field every time. And then you get a Josh Allen run on 3rd down. They go for it on 4th and 5. And they have that Dalton King played where the play gets completely blown up by the Chiefs defense. Chiefs get the ball back. Samaje Perine gets the 1st down. It's over. Coaching malpractice, man. This is just the Bills. They shoot themselves in the foot every year, and this is another year where they seemingly had the roster. They got the turnovers that they needed. They got the luck that they needed, and they still weren't able to capitalize on the offensive side of the ball. And you feel bad for the Bills.
It was a devastating last drive.
Yes. Yeah, it was devastating.
They finally got the stop. They finally stopped Mahomes.
They got the ball at the end.
Plenty of time. Down only 3. And they got the ball back, and I was like, this is it. Like, they're going to win this game. We
finally going to do it.
Finally did it. Like, we're right. The Chiefs aren't that good. This is the year. And then as soon as it got to 3rd and 10, I was like, I don't know about this.
No. How do you not run the ball? Drive.
Yeah. It's tough.
I mean, you think you're supposed to.
Let's
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, you're supposed to come into this drive, 3 minutes left, down by 3. We're going to score a touchdown with zeros on the clock. Or we're going to score a
Yeah,
touchdown
you
with,
have to have in mind that we cannot give him the ball back.
yes,
Like, you gave him the ball
under
back in
any
13 seconds
circumstance.
and you lost the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So the goal there is like, you got to
Yeah,
run on
it's-
first and second down every time. Make the Chiefs use their timeouts, get it under the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
Give some pressure to them. And that's the thing with the Bills. And it kind of like to a sense with the Commanders, but the Commanders haven't played they didn't play the Eagles in the AFC champion or NFC championship 5 times already. Like how are you going to play scared? They played scared and doing all that 2-point shit. And maybe like some people say that's the risk and like that's not playing scared, but that's what stupid teams do and teams that are
no,
worse
yeah,
than
that's
the other
just
team.
stupid. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like chasing points is dumb.
Yep.
If you get them, great. It doesn't really change the game that much.
Yeah, the grit on the gridiron saying they had their chances. They definitely did. They definitely had their chances.
Kincaid's got to catch that ball.
Yeah, so that's a
It
tough.
wasn't a layup.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was a
He
tough
had to go to
catch.
the ground to catch it. The way he tracked the ball was a little bit concerning.
His body
His ball goes
formation
up,
when
and
he's
he kinda,
catching
like,
it.
sees it, and he, like, stumbles a little bit and then has to flop on the ground to try to make the play. I don't know what happened. I think his brain just melted when he saw the ball coming through.
It was.
He was
I think the
so
whole.
wide open.
Yeah, the whole play was like melted. It's like Josh Allen's getting
It
5
was.
guys rushing at him.
And, like, credit to the Chiefs for it feels like every big play defensively, they know what to do, and they sent a blitz that was impossible for the Bills to
block.
defend, and credit to Josh Allen for getting the ball out, honestly. Did you see the people saying that he should have thrown it to, I think it was Shakir?
Oh
He
yeah,
was, like,
yeah.
doing a little, like, flare out.
That he couldn't have seen
You
it
really think that
all.
he saw him?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way that he
When
could
the
have seen
Chiefs
that.
were on him within 0.7 seconds.
I always do. I love those
But yeah,
those type of
he should've
analysis
kept the ball.
where it's like, no, if this touchdown right over here is wide open. It's like you could do that with every play, probably every.
Well, and
play.
they showed the little dots. They're like, why
Oh
did you throw
yeah,
to number 10? It's like, I saw somebody retweet it, and they were like, because the 17 dot was about to get murdered. Yeah, that was sad. Because when they showed it on, at first I was like, that was an impossible catch. Like, I come back and dive for it. It would have been an amazing play. And then they showed the replay, and I was like, he's got to catch that ball. At that point, like, again, not an easy play. At any other point in the game, you're just kind of like, he's tough play, but should be caught.
it's
At least
yeah.
that's what I thought.
No, I thought it should have. I thought it should have been caught too. I thought. I mean, it was almost like it was almost impossible to catch. It felt like, but it did feel like he was under it. He had the opportunity. If they needed, like, if they were going to go to the Super Bowl, they would have had a catch like that, and it just would have been like that would have been like the storybook ending. You finally get it and stuff like that. Man. The Bills. You got to feel bad for the Bills. I mean, their fans.
I felt for them this one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's to get beat by the boogeyman every year.
Yeah,
It's just got to be brutal. So,
can you imagine there were like, you could tell that there were Bills fans there. Can you imagine being in that stadium and having to walk out, like watching them celebrate again? Why would you even go?
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna
if it was
say
the first time or even the second time, I'd be like, oh hell yeah, like we're making the road trip. We've never been here. This is the 4th time you've played them. Why are you spending your money on this?
there was a lot of Bills fans there too. The first Amari Cooper catch, the whole stadium was saying Coop. That talk about a sad walkout, sad, cold. Everyone's probably harping at you. Yeesh.
It's tough.
So we have the Super Bowl matchup, the Eagles and the Chiefs. America did not want this. I don't think anyone really wanted this. This is our 4th Super Bowl matchup in 6 years. So that kind of sucks.
Right. I saw it.
I don't know. I mean, like, as someone who watched the Pats, I'm not going to now complain that they're on the Super Bowl all the time. I mean, they're the best. They're the best teams. They deserve it. All the Chiefs, I mean, deserve it every year that they make it.
Mhm.
I don't know. So who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? So I'm actually rooting for the Chiefs.
I don't know, because I know so many Eagles fans that I
Yeah.
like. So I don't have the same hate for the Eagles that I do for like the Giants and the Cowboys.
hmm
Um, so I don't know. I don't. It's not excited.
No, I'm not very excited either.
I'm
The
gonna
like,
watch.
I think
For
the
the Chiefs. Why?
because I said they'd win the Super Bowl on this podcast. That's why. I got at this point. I mean, I've been screaming this from the top of the hill since I think the first NFL podcast we did of this year. I think we started out
Yeah.
like on season bets. I was just like, just bet the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. They were like plus
Yeah.
500. It wasn't even that much. So that's why. I mean,
Minus
that's really it.
135.
Yeah, I know. And you know what's the worst part is I don't listen to myself. I had never at 0 points did I say that I bet the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, and I think I said on this podcast multiple times throughout the season, this is the week to bet the Chiefs.
Probably like 100 times.
Yeah, yeah. Including at the beginning of the playoffs, including including last week. So this is I guess I'm I struggling from success, but whatever. I'll take the prediction right. All right, Chris. So next episode, Saturday, we're gonna get a lot of NBA in. Since we don't have, we're gonna do a lot of Super Bowl next week. We got a whole another week, so we're gonna relax. We talk about some NBA. Trade deadline is for some reason during Super Bowl week because the NBA is like, hey, we don't care about our ratings at all. We don't want anyone to talk about us. So so they have it literally 2 days before or 3 days before the Super Bowl because they're dumbasses. But we're gonna do a full NBA stuff, recap, little mid season trade deadline preview, all that good stuff on Saturday. Shorter pod today, but thank you all for listening. I mean, Chris, do you think you got it right? That's everything, right?
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's about all I got too.
It's I will say it's sad just in general this point in the season.
Yeah.
Championship Sunday is like the best weekend
Mhm.
at divisional round, best weekends of the year for football. So not to end on doom and gloom, but
No, it is. Yeah, and it's a somber
2
moment,
weeks,
but
Super
it's
Bowl, never done.
yeah. And then we'll dive into March Madness, dive into the NBA, and we'll be back. We'll be fine. But and
That's right. We'll be all right.
mock
Baseball's
drafts.
just around the corner.
Yeah, mock draft season.
That's
I mean,
right. Wise mocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
There's some exciting stuff coming in the off season. But thank you all for listening.